Hello Stampers, thanks for joining me today. This is Michelle Zindorf and I have a pretty little project for you today. This card goes together fairly simply. The scene, it looks like it's intricate, but it's really not. It goes together pretty quick. So we're going to go step by step through it. I hope you join me and you create this card together with me. This is my first card using the Prairie Grass stamp set. I plan to do a series of 3 with this stamp set and show you different ways that you can use it. This is an exclusive from Stampin Up. And it's an online exclusive, so it's not in the catalog, but you can pick it up on my website. I've got the link down below this video, so just check that out. And one thing about the exclusives I need to tell you about that they're only there for a certain amount of time. We don't know how long they'll be there. It depends on how much stock they have and how quickly they go. So if you see something that you like that's an online exclusive, just pick it up as soon as you can, is my best advice. So we're going to get started on this project. I'm going to start with the main panel. And I have all the dimensions for the panels down below this video too. So check that out along with all the links to all the products. So this basic white panel is 3.5 by 5. So we're going to get going on that, and we're going to start putting our background colors in. And I'm going to use blending brushes for that, and we're going to start with Balmy Blue. And we're just going to put Balmy Blue all over this panel here. And I'm just going to use a circular motion. I like to do this, and I use different amounts of pressure. I don't worry that there's spots. I think spots give you some good character in your sky. See how those look like clouds, and I did nothing. I just did circular motions. I'm just going to bring this all the way down, and I'm only bringing it down just because I like to layer my colors. I get a better blend with them. If you just do like Balmy Blue here and then you go to your next color, you're going to end up with a stripe looking creation instead of a blended look. Okay, so there's my Balmy Blue. And we're done with that color. Next we're going to go to Highland Heather. And I'm going to go ahead and put Highland Heather on this panel, and I'm going to leave like the top third of it that Balmy Blue. Again, circular motion here. I don't want that racing stripe effect, so make sure you do the circular motion. If you do it like a back and forth, you're going to end up with like a stripe. Okay. So there is that. So while I have that out, I'm going to stamp this tall grassy stamp. Look how large this is. This is on a background block. So it's a very large image in this set. No wimpy image there. So I'm just going to load this up. Large stamps I like to load this way. That way I know that I've got ink on everything. And I'm going to stamp this a couple times. I'm going to stamp it a little lower. I'm not putting the whole thing on the cardstock, as you see. So I'm adding a purple image here. And these are in the background, so that's why I've made them purple. We're going to layer some images here to get our pretty scene. So this one's even lower. I'm just going to add a little one here on the side. Okay, so we have that. So next I'm going to bring out some Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to load my stamp up with Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to stamp this image. And I'm going to stamp it so it's almost all the way to the top. Give it a good press so you get a nice image here. There we go. Now see how those look really pretty just like that, because you have layers of them. It's not just one color too. So I like that look. Okay, so I'm keeping my mossy meadow out here, and I have some grasses here. This is in that same set. It's this image right here. So I'm going to stamp these along the bottom here. And I'm going to layer them up. Stamp them all the way across. I want a nice thick layer of them. I'm not putting the whole stamp on here. I'm just doing like the tops of the grasses. And I'm going to keep on layering them so it looks like it's pretty thick. There we go. Okay, so we're done with that image. And we're done with our mossy meadow for right now. And I'm going to put some smoky slate along the bottom here. I'm using a blending brush, and I'm going to use a circular motion along the bottom here. This is also mixing with that green that isn't dry yet, which is fine. It gives you a great color. Yours might just come out smoky slate if you've waited long enough for that ink to dry. Mine was not, but I like that look. Okay, so now we're going to add some fun little white dots on the bottom. All of this here is just white, and you can use a white gel pen and make dots, or I use this Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. It's a watercolor, and it comes in this bottle. And I'm just going to add some of this. I have a small paintbrush here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dots here. Along the bottom. You're going to get some up here. You can cover that up if you don't want them at the top. I like all these looks that you get down here. Just like there's plants going every which way. And if you want to add some more dots, you can add some bigger ones. I'm going to add a few bigger ones, and I'm going to make them a different color after these dry. Okay, so we got that. Now make sure you clean your brush after this. You'll just clean it out with water, because this is watercolor. All right, and I'm going to switch my paper off here. And we're going to set this aside to dry. I got it out of my way so I didn't put my hands in it. And we're going to start putting some things together here. I die cut this piece here, and I brought in this Tags to Go dies. So here's the Tags to Go dies. This is also an online exclusive. Look how pretty those are. Keys and locks and such. So I used this piece right here, and I die cut that out of Highland Heather using a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now this also has a coordinating stamp set, the Tags to Go stamp set. And you can pick those up as a bundle and save 10%, or just get them separately, however you want. I've got links to those also below. So we have that, and I'm going to use Mossy Meadow here. And I'm going to stamp our sentiment that comes out of the Prairie Grass stamp set. It says, "So very sorry." And I'm using Mossy Meadow for this. I'm going to have to stand up so I get this straight. Well, as straight as possible anyway. There we go. There's our sentiment. I'm going to set that aside. I have my card base here. This is basic white, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I folded it in half to create my quarter card. Inside, I'm going to add a panel, and this panel is 4 by 5.25. So we're going to put this inside our card, and I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue here, my favorite. We'll just add some love. Put it in here. We're just going to center it up inside. And I don't know what I want to say yet. I'm not sure what I'm sorry for at this point. You could use it for sorry you lost your job, sorry, you know, you could use it for a sympathy card, sorry it hurt your feelings, or whatever. So many things you could be sorry for, right? So we have that. I'm going to also add this to the front of the card, and this is Highland Heather also, and this is 3 3/4 by 5.25. I'm just going to center this up on the front. There we go. Okay. Now this is not yet dry, so I'm going to give it a minute, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, if you have some really thick dots on your card panel, what you can do is turn it over, and on your scrap paper just place it flat down. Don't move it side to side, just flat down, and then just rub at the back of it a little bit, and then pull it straight up, and that'll flatten those dots. And what it'll look like you can see this one right here, they'll look like flowers. So we're going to go ahead and use that so it looks like a flower. And I have a marker. So I have a Stampin' Blend marker here. Now you could use any color you wanted to, and I just picked the Lemon Lolly. And I'm going to use the brush end here, and I'm going to color over some of these white dots, and they'll become yellow. And they will look like little flowers, which is kind of fun. So you can color those dots any color you wanted to. I kind of like that look. It gives you like, you have multi things going on. You have white flowers and you have yellow flowers. Cute, right? And it took no time at all. I'm going to color this one up here. There we go. Got kind of wild with my little dots there. When you make them, you can always cover it with a piece of paper where you don't want the dots to go. I just let them fly, apparently, on this one. Okay, so we're going to add this to the front of our card. I'm just going to center it up. You may hear not Sadie, you may hear Willow out there crying. I've got her locked out of the room once again. She gets angry when she hears Mom talking and she can't get to me. But if I leave her in here, she will jump up right in the middle of everything. So I just centered that main panel on that Highland Heather panel. I'm going to add my little sentiment piece here, and I'm going to go all the way to the card edge with this. Make sure I have it straight. I like that. And then I have a little strip of Highland Heather. This is 1/8 wide by 5 inches. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this. When I put the glue on here, I'm going to rub it back and forth. I don't want big globs of it. So I'm using the tip to kind of rub it in. That way I don't have things seeping out of this little strip. Okay, now I'm going to put this on my card here, and it's just long enough to reach down and go from the top of the main panel to the bottom. And that just gives you just something simple that is not real bulky, that just adds a lot to your card front when you have these big panels like this. Okay, now we just need just a little piece of bling. me find my bling here. There we go. I have the adhesive back textured dots. These have really become my favorites. And I'm just going to use one of these large ones here. Just going to cover that hole up in that piece for my sentiment. And there is our finished card. Here's the original. And I hope you enjoyed this project and that you give it a try. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. Toodles.